2 of 20. This is going to feel like the longest race ever for those two.
Yeah, this is going to feel like they're tiptoeing around. More confidence than Jonathan Rea. Just looking at the riders as well, looks like they're all still out there in full war of a chance to be able to have that stability. So everyone's still out there trying to
conditions earlier on this campaign in Barcelona, cutting his way through to drop back outside the top 10. The start of lap 3, Razgatlioglu has been close each lap around at the end of this 507-metre start-finish race. Finally he gets it done. Oglu hits the front in race 1.
Yeah, Toprak wants to win the championship in style. He said all the way through this line, through that section of the track. It's all the way up towards turn 10. That's where of an endo on the run into turn 10, so he's still braking really hard. The pace isn't hot in this league.
Bassani at the moment is the fastest man out there. Axel Bassani, who now cuts through on Scott Redding, set at 1 minute 39, who had a 1 second deficit to the top two. He gained all of that ground on this lap around, got it down to 2/10. Razgatlioglu is on the brakes, but we also know that Jonathan Rea is going to be desperately keen in this season.
The mark, the fastest man on the track last time around. He was a full second faster than Toprak. Razgatlioglu out in the lead.
He's been himself and Razgatlioglu as they come again in towards turn number 10. Bassani a little bit wide. He's going to get a better exit. Bassani having a go at Jonathan Rea as they come in towards turn 12, and Rea is bumped
harder than some of the other leaders. But look at Van der Mark on the number 60 machine, the orange helmet at the back of this group. He's dropped Andrea Locatelli,
who mastered difficult track conditions and rubbed shoulders with the likes of Razgatlioglu and Rea. Razgatlioglu, quarter of a second of daylight behind him now to Bassani, but Bassani was over a 1/10 of a second at your top 9, and Davies the fastest of all of them last time around.
Yeah, Davies 3 seconds behind the race leader was on the number 7 gets through.
And here goes Axel Bassani on Toprak Razgatlioglu, turn 10 of lap 5, and in this season, think back to the triple header, Bassani leads here at the Mandalika.
Bassani at the front of the field.
And Jonathan Rea does copy Axel Bassani's aggression as he fights his way through. Well, he now wants to hit the front. Oh, he moved Bassani out of the way. No quarter given there whatsoever by Jonathan. Bassani working wonders for the current race leader, the new race leader, Jonathan Rea. New fastest up as world champion. He puts himself back into a title-winning position.
Yeah, we've said all the way through this weekend, it looks like in 7th spot, and then Garrett Gerloff 13th, and Coda Nozani down in 16th, so none of those riders able to offer him any sort
at the moment of Scott Redding as Razgatlioglu makes his move on Jonathan Rea. Bit of a wobble from the pair of them as they make their way. Razgatlioglu was aggressive on his way in, but left the line open for Rea to pounce, and Bassani can't quite get it done on Razgatlioglu this time around in through turns 13 and 14.
In the damp conditions in Portimao in the Superpole race, he knows he needs to clear Sykes quickly, get himself up into 5th.
With how aggressive he is, he might just try and make a move and force Redding.
Still only half a second covering that lead quartet.
And the 4 leader coming across line is the guinea pig, and we saw in Portimao that that didn't always work out too well for him. Half of the lap, as you said earlier on, Alex, really strong in that final sector. Toprak's going to have to
10 here of lap number 10. He's very close. He's left Bassani behind him. Redding up in Van der Mark through for 5th as Rea makes his pass. I said he's been strong through this final sector all race long.
Was over the course of this season, trail breaking like that hasn't been the strength of the Kawasaki, so Rea's found.
Turn 1 of lap 11. Razgatlioglu now will respond. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining World SBK,
this is why these are 2 of the best riders in the world this year. It's very hard to choose anything between them. Toprak hasn't put a foot wrong out in the race.
Rea a bit hot into 2 and 3, runs wide but manages to gather it up through the rest of the first sector. Rea right out as well, closing in and spoiling for a fight. Rea goes to the outside of Razgatlioglu. Redding here with an opportunity.
Even he's on the gas a little bit earlier to set up the end of this lap.
Well, at the moment it looks like this race, let alone the second place, would also be good enough. The best way Jonathan Rea can stop Toprak Razgatlioglu is by beating.
He's going to try and do the same move again. You can see just how much grip he has on that run through turn 13. He exits that corner very slowly.
And here goes Redding. Scott Redding down the inside of Jonathan Rea through 15 and 16, and that's really been making progress on Razgatlioglu. And suddenly Toprak is able to make a bit of a gap.
Lost 4/10 of a second in that final sector. We'll see if he's able to bridge that gap pretty quick. It does look like he's got a lot more bike underneath him than those other riders in that group.
Quick word as well for Axel Bassani, 10th position, so this would be big progress for Bassani, who stands to make up 10 of the Razgatlioglu backing it in as ever in towards turn 10. Rea closing back down Redding.
Turn 10, because he breaks that little bit earlier than the other riders, he's able to open the gas a little bit earlier, so he exits the corner very well. Podiums in MotoGP in changeable conditions.
Wide! Very wide for Toprak Razgatlioglu. He's off the sun, and that just goes to show you the perils of a drying circuit. It's not fully dry, just one, and on lap 12 of 20. He wants to bring it home now for this title.
Yeah, the one thing for that mistake for Toprak, that would have given him a lot more confidence trying through. He's trying to get that bike stopped all the way, still sliding, even on that ether commentary box here, and certainly that would have given them a few increases in the heart rate.
Yes, I can't see through the floor, but I've seen Bassani hassling and harrying him. Razgatlioglu now 1.3 seconds behind Jonathan Rea, who sits in second position, even with Toprak Razgatlioglu behind him. So Rea is going to push as hard as he can here to chase down and pass Scott Redding.
Yeah, and you can see on this lap of Ducati, but Jonathan Rea on this lap, he's bridged that half-second gap. He's right there. He's got his tail up. He knows that he's got
wily old campaigner, the master, who's had good for lap 14 of 20. A new fastest lap of the race, a 1:34.413. Just over a tenth of a second now. The gap's at 6 back from Rea, and I think he might just be about to join the Scott Redding fan club.
Yeah, he's just after setting his fan. It was 8/10 of a second faster than him last time around.
Yes, at the moment it's all about Ducatis. Scott Redding, can he stay in front of John? Less than a bike length in it as they come off turns 8 and 9. Rea with an opportunity in towards turn 10. Redding and Rea with different lines at one of the pinch points of this segment on lap 14.
Yeah, we know that Jonathan Rea in the next couple of corners is very fast on the run down in towards turn 15. We'll see if he's able to get seconds.
Well, I would say stretched out. I would say it's more closed in, because Toprak has gained 4 laps so far. New personal best sectors coming in from Toprak Razgatlioglu, and a new fast note. We know that it is going to be a situation where Toprak will be the man who is Rea Razgatlioglu. You can do it, say Ducati to Scott Redding, and he certainly can at the moment.
He's got to get through on Scott Redding. We saw him get really close in the run down in towards turn 10 last time, 0.3 seconds, but we'll see if Toprak's able to pull back another few tenths. Last time around, you can see there, pulled back up.
Bassani behind him, so he's shaken off his shadow. Bassani on the number 47, the Moto Corsa rider, still having a great race, if you will, and he's 1.2 seconds down on Toprak Razgatlioglu, despite the fact that he too is putting in personal best laps at the moment. Things settling down from 4th place backwards, but certainly not for top spot. Might have been 4 tenths at one stage earlier in the altitudes between them again. Will Jonathan Rea be able to capitalise on this final sector, where so often it is? So it's all going to be about the 507-metre run in towards turn number 1. We can keep this fight alive, because Toprak Razgatlioglu at the moment is doing enough for third, but Rea is not close enough back into turn 1. Time running out.
Yeah, the yellow flags, and also Oliver Koenig after his crash into turn 3. But Jonathan Rea, he knows the 5 lap. He will get close enough, but into turn 10, he hasn't been fast enough to try and attack Redding. He's going to just have to try and put his bike in a position to get down the inside into turn 10 or turn...
From disaster, it's disaster for Rea as things stand. He must get past Scott Redding here to take us to a last race decider, and Jonathan Rea is through on Scott Redding. Redding the sleep to cut through to lead. Scott Redding, though, will immediately respond. He comes from way back, and he almost hits the back of Luke to try and close in on the second place that he needs to seal the title.
Yeah, the gap between Redding...
Yes, I couldn't quite work out whether it was a piece of carbon fibre off Rea's own bike, or whether there was some delay. The focus turns to what's going on behind him. Can Scott Redding P once again? New personal best lap last time around from Razgatlioglu. Is he got the better tyre?
Redding, he knows he's got a chance to do it. You'd see Redding there with that little bit of a slip again on the run through 3 and 4. So Toprak's close enough to make an attack into turn 10. So last time around, obviously Jonathan Rea was able to make that move. Get close enough now.
These are the 3 men who've been knocking spots off one another all season long. They're the top. Nobody has been able to live with them. 3.5 seconds now. The gap between Razgatlioglu in third. Redding, could there even be an opportunity by the end of this lap, let alone by the end of this race? Championship win in style. Redding's got just about enough in hand for the moment.
Yeah, and moves made into there. Looks like Toprak a little bit too far back at this stage. So into turn 1 for Toprak.
8 tenths of a second between as Redding leaves the door wide open for Razgatlioglu. He will still have the inside though on the switchback for turn 17. He won't want to mess up riding all season long, but he's got back in front of Razgatlioglu, and at the start of lap 18, this could be a title winning overtake from Toprak Razgatlioglu. He's back into second place.
Redding's got any answer back to Toprak, obviously enough. He'll want to make sure he's able to make clean moves. He doesn't want to get involved in that. Opportunity presents itself. Scott Redding will try and make a move on Toprak.
Jonathan, it's all about what the Ducatis can do, because Rea and Razgatlioglu for the moment look settled. A second between them at the head through, and from a neutral's perspective, of course, that will give us a last race decider to this 2021 campaign.
Redding's enough to try and get that Ducati alongside the Yamaha on the run into turn 15, try and answer back, but Toprak, he's got a couple of tenths of a second in hand on Scott Redding right now, but any mistake from Toprak...
Easy opportunity to pass Toprak Razgatlioglu, and Toprak defends to the inside through...
So that Toprak's not going to be easy to pass on the run into turn 1 or into turn 10, so for Scott Redding, he needs to focus on...
out in front, controlling this race.
Yeah, Jonathan's done exactly what he could.
Victory would be 25 points behind Toprak Razgatlioglu in the championship stand at the end of the season, would win out. He's had the greater number of feature-length race wins. It's capitalising on a couple of wayward moments, nervous moments for Razgatlioglu.
Yeah, Toprak's been able to tap initially. It has been an action-packed day for Toprak. He's now opened up enough of a gap over Scott.
Laps from the end, and the race is finally beginning to settle down, although you'd have to say Toprak still risks absolutely everything here. He only needs a second place, but he's gained 4/10 on Jonathan
The championship just by sitting in second. He wants to win the race.
This is astonishing. I cannot. Well, Scott Redding's informed. Half a second is the gap. New fastest lap of the race to the race win, let alone the championship.
And a bit of a moment there through turn one as well for Top. Like you said, Alex, 6/10 of a second taken out of Jonathan Ray last time around. The one thing for Toprak is he also knows that it's a bridge too far to be able to close up on Ray.
I think that point's already come. First sector completed to take a victory in what is the penultimate race of this 2021 campaign. Rounds and a half that we'll have had by the end of this race. But the sector only needed second place in this race to be confirmed world champion. Backwards and forwards through the order. But it's all been about Jonathan Ray at the head of them. 6 years for Jonathan Ray. But Ray's reign has come to an end. A new era has begun in World SBK. The 2020 Razgatlioglu. Second place was exact front when he could, past Scott Redding in what is a championship winning move.
And you can see the two titles. Toprak's been a thoroughly deserving world champion. Really has impressed.
Through Toprak Razgatlioglu since that mammoth victory at championships. He's kept it all in well. He's looked cool. He's looked calm. He's been happy. He's been the same bump.
Keenan used to always run the one plate, and Toprak, he'll certainly look to do the same, you think.
Never